Hi, and welcome to Carolina Varsity's look at the week 3 of the 2013 Players of the Week. I'm Dale Ross.
I'm the pet man, Matt Morrow.
And Matt, I guess we'll start out with the games we attended. I went to the West Mecklenburg game, like I mentioned in our recap. It was pretty much a practice, so you could pick anybody as your player of the week out of the ball game. Smith, McClendon, Wilson, they all, how can you say they performed well? They all walked through their practice well. I'm sorry, but
I've got two guys from North Meck as my players of the week. Will Santiago, the running back, number 9, 22 carries for 143, 2 touchdowns. Workhorse in the run game. I don't know if North Meck put another running back in late, but I think if they want to run the ball, it's going through him. So he's the man. And Nolan Beasley, the quarterback, 10 of 20 for 213, 3 touchdowns. Numbers aren't that glamorous, but the way he had to get these numbers, he was scrambling all night long. His plays were going for 7 and 8 seconds, and he was breaking the pocket, and receivers were, breaking long, and he would hit them in stride. And, he had to work. He had to work for those stats. So that's a good job to both of those guys.
All right, I'm going to throw out, we asked on the forum for you guys to make suggestions, and please continue to do that. We'd like to get to the point to where we actually have to do some weeding and, culling or whatever you want to call it. So suggest your players, we'll at least honorable mention them, but out of all the suggestions that I had, I thought it was impressive that Anthony Ratliff's game. 11 of 17, 202 yards, 4 touchdown passes. He rushed for 128 yards and 2 TDs. And I think that's impressive, accounting for 6 TDs against another perennial 4A power team. Regardless of how down Page may be, that's a very good performance. And especially for a team that the fans have been crying, we don't have wide receivers. You have 4 wide receivers that caught touchdowns, or a wide receiver caught 4 touchdowns. Doesn't matter, it happened. So he was my pick, and a wise man suggested him.
Okay, thank you, wise man. I've got Will Grier for Davidson Day. Of course, he's putting up big numbers every week, but these were even big for him. 334 yards passing, 6 touchdowns, 185 yards rushing, and 1 touchdown, and a 46-20 win over Providence Day. Now, normally I don't hold a lot of weight because they don't play, the best teams in the world. But this is a Bruce Harden coach Providence Day team he did this against.
Right.
And, you got to give some credit to that. Whether they're down or not, you don't put those stats up against Bruce Harden that easily. So that's a good job to you, Mr. Grier. Congratulations.
I agree, and I know the defensive coordinator over at Providence Day. I've not talked with him about this game, but regardless of how down Providence Day may be, and they could end up losing every game this season, that's still quality competition. People can't harp that you're not playing anybody Davidson Day, because you did, regardless of where they're at. You did play a good team, and that's good numbers, because regardless of where they're at down-wise, they're still well coached. They're still positioned. They're kids that play in position. They just may not be as fast or as athletic, but they're still in good position, and thus it's not that easy. So congratulations.
Yes, sir.
My next pick is also a suggested player, and I'm going to say it again. I think it's Dijoun. Daquan, I'm sorry.
That's our best guess.
Daquan Cox of Richmond. And his game was very impressive. This was an advanced game, the 41-33 game. 14 carries for 166 yards, 2 TDs, 2 kick returns, totaled 109 yards. One of them was 90 yards. That gave him all-purpose yards of 275.
Okay.
Pretty impressive. And just to throw out, so I went to Max Preps, and Richmond does a good job of putting their stats in. Vance has, I think, been putting stats in, but they didn't have their stats in at that time. That was true with a few teams. But anyway, for 3 games, he's 38 carries, 536 yards. That's 14 yards a carry.
pretty good.
That is 178 yards a game. He's had a 67-yard run and 8 TDs this season. So congratulations, and that was Bear 5034 that suggested him. Thankfully, he went to a good ball game.
Yeah. I've got Scotty McDaniel, Myers Park. 7 catches for 116 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a 37-7 victory over South Mecklenburg. And the guy throwing him the ball, Clay Norris, had 238 yards passing. So you got a little connection there with Norris and McDaniel going on at Myers Park to get them in the win column. Good job, guys.
Jerry Self, our photographer out of Gaston County that mainly covers North Gaston. He goes other places, but Jerry suggested Alan Cisco. Defensive player had 3 fumble recoveries in their big win over Lincolnton, 10-7. So I did a little research on the kid. I found a highlight video. I put it up on the site. He had a lot of tackles in that game as well. They actually have got a highlight for that game of him. So congratulations. You actually did play a pretty good ball game. I wouldn't have put you in here if you didn't look like you'd played a good ball game.
And that's just a shout out North Gaston. They're 3-0, and if you guys don't know, those guys have been way down. I mean, we're talking at the levels of a team that hadn't won in maybe this wouldn't have been like 6 or 7 years, close to
maybe not quite that long because isn't Blue still playing?
Yeah, 2007 they made that run to the state title game. But congratulations to you guys.
That's
you guys
right.
are doing a great job in turning that program around.
Exactly.
My next one, Jamel Logan at A.O. Brown. You may not have heard the name before, but listen to what he did. 3 sacks against Weddington, including the game clincher on 4th down to preserve a 7-0 victory and a great defensive struggle. And I also want to note, A.O. Brown had 7 sacks overall as a team against a very good Weddington team.
That's impressive.
For that defense to come around full circle and do that, that's a big congratulations to Jamel and you guys. Good job.
Yeah, good job. Congratulations. That's a good win. Next one is another suggested player. Love of the game suggested Jerrick Robbins of Porter Ridge. In that game we talked about earlier, 28-24. And really the stats are pretty impressive. Unofficial, and I say unofficial because the numbers have not been entered in yet into Max Preps. That is one of the, they are one of the teams that do enter stats. Right. 242 yards all purpose. He had a 94-yard rushing TD. Had 94 yards rushing and 1 TD. Had a 97-yard kick return for a TD. Had a 51-yard punt return that set him up for his TD run. Any coaches watching play in this game, you probably don't want to kick to this kid. 2 interceptions. One of them was actually sealed. They say sealed the win for Porter Ridge. So very impressive stats.
Yeah, Mr. Robbins has been in here a couple weeks already. So good job. And once again, like I like to say every week, recruiters down to Porter Ridge, we'll talk to this kid.
Exactly.
My next one, Jerry Chadwick of Hopewell. He's the quarterback up there. 24-39, 334 yards, 4 touchdowns, and a 51-41 loss to Mooresville. Despite the loss, I thought those numbers deserve some merit. And Dominique Heath committed to Kansas State, who was the number 4.
The number 4 that, that one of our posters was asking about, exactly.
He had 9 catches for 153 yards. So a very impressive game for both of you guys, even though it wasn't a losing effort.
That's right. Anybody that plays Hopewell, Olympics got them this week, you see the number 4 on the field, the kid is a ball player. Definitely someone you have to keep an eye out for. And I had him as one of my honorable mentions, so that guy's covered. We had another suggestion from Slim Shady.
Slim Shady?
Slim Shady, yeah. Aubrey Kell. So they joined us about, I don't know, 3 weeks ago. I think I saw him pop up on the forum. Alan Hayes of Aubrey Kell in the Marvin Ridge 45-24 ball game. Playing safety, and the stats are fairly impressive. 14 tackles. Of course, your safety's supposed to make tackles. 14. what's going on with the linebackers. One sack, and we looked at his highlights, and we see that they do bring him up.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a safety blitz, a safety position, but he's starting out at a linebacker D-end position, but still one sack and 3 pass breakups. So that's pretty impressive game.
Yeah, good job of you. Allen.
Alan Hayes.
Actually, my last player of the week is from RGK also.
Okay.
Trey Ellis at receiver. 3 touchdown catches in the same victory over Marvin Ridge. And I believe he is the son of former Berry coach Tracy Ellis.
Oh, really? Okay.
I believe. If I'm not correct, please let me know. But I believe he is. So it looks like the ball didn't fall too far from the
Exactly.
tree or whatever I'm trying to say. Good job.
Well, suggested also by Slim Shady was his quarterback. So these are just honorable mentions. Nathan Turnbow, he threw the three TD passes.
Right.
There's also a Cal, and I cannot pronounce your last name. Man, you want to try to pronounce that?
Kukielski.
Maybe Kukielski.
That's my best guess.
He had 3 interceptions. I'm just going to throw out some, since people you suggested them and we got a little bit of time, I'm just going to throw names out that were nominated. Wiseman nominated Issac Garcia and Rod Tinsley. Both had right at 100. Garcia had 137 yards and Tinsley had 97 and threw a TD pass.